Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to On the Bright Line podcast, Tales from Recovering Food Addicts from the perspective of a physician, a therapist, and an off-the-wall storyteller. We are not affiliated or endorsed by Brightline Eating, and all content presented in this podcast represents our personal opinions and does not represent medical, nutritional, or psychological professional advice. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Bright Line podcast. Today, we are going to talk about fun. Yay! We're going to have a fun episode today. So I think that a common theme that has come up in people's Bright Line journeys is that once you take food and kind of get the food chatter out of your head, it actually frees up your life to do other things, to find other interests.
To figure out who you are.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big things is that we don't probably put enough emphasis on in life in general is having fun, enjoying yourself, whether that's a hobby, whether that's, just being silly or, finding stuff that you just enjoy to do with your friends or family or whatever the case might be. I think fun is really important. And I think it's a vital part of who we are, just to enjoy ourselves and enjoy life. So we just wanted to have a little discussion about, I wanted to talk about like what's different about my life now that I've, had this journey. But just, fun. What do we do for fun? What do we like to do for fun? Some ideas, that sort of thing. So do you want me to start?
Yeah,
If I started the conversation, I'll start the conversation. This is weird. I don't normally start the conversation, but I'll start the conversation. So one of the things that I was really talking about that's kind of sparked this conversation was that I no longer watch TV, which is the strangest thing because I was the biggest TV addict I think there was on the universe. I had multiple shows that I watched all the time. And I was one of these oh, is my show on? Oh, I gotta go watch it. And I was I had multiple series I was watching, always, movies, always the TV is always rolling, whatever. I don't remember the last time I sat down and watched an entire show. I took my dad, I will tell you this too. I took my dad to see the second Dune movie and I was 3 hours in a chair was way too long. I was who sits for this long? Never before BLE did I ever feel that way. I could sit on the couch for hours and hours and hours and just, shove.
I was going to say, because what were you doing on the couch?
Shove the food in while I watch the shows. And
numb out while you numbed out.
Just numb out while I numb out, which is it's just a trip now to think about. It's okay, I would rather be doing something. I would rather be doing something fun. And so whether that's going outside and hiking, whether that's playing with my kids, whether it's going to the farmer's market, I could go on and on and on about all the things I would rather be doing than watching TV these days. And TV used to be the number one thing in my life. And it's just crazy. So now it's I get to do other things instead of watch TV. I have so much time on my hands that I'm not.
Do you? Right.
Sorry, we were just having a side discussion before we started this episode.
You also have 2 kids and work full time, but you have but yet you still have more time on your hands.
I have more time on my hands.
Yes,
than I did
that's
before.
crazy.
Okay, don't negate that.
Yep.
Yes, I am a busy person. I will admit that. But I don't watch hours and hours of TV like I used to. I used to get off work and I used to watch TV until I went to bed.
Right.
Literally. And I don't do that anymore. So.
But it's about you really connecting with what truly brings you joy, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I talk about, people will refer to watching TV as it's self-care.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm but
I'd rather take a bath.
But because there's so many things that we tell ourselves that we like or enjoy that are what I call junk food self-care. They're quick, they're easy. Right? I can click the TV on and immediately numb out. And what I hear you doing is not numbing. I hear you living and feeling and connecting with what truly brings you joy and dopamine.
So true.
Yeah. Right.
So true. Junk food self-care.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun, Bonnie?
Man, I like to be outside.
Yeah.
I like to be outside, or I like to hang out with you guys, be social with people that I'm close to. I'm not a go to a large event with make small talk with people I don't know.
Right.
I like to have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to be outside. So when I was big in the food. We talked about this many times, and I would snack all day, but that was like my numbing out all day. Like I was numb all day and just not, and now it's like, oh, I have 15 minutes. I'm going to go outside and do work on something, or I'd love to like accomplish something. I have projects going on in the yard, and I enjoy the challenge of trying to get that done, but I just also love the, just being outside and being away from, the numbing.
Right.
I started following this young gentleman named Jace, who has, I actually don't know which kind of cancer he has. It's some kind of cancer. It's called, Jace Beats Cancer is his hashtag. Shout out to you, Jace. And I've been really thinking about this topic, over the last few weeks, and he's amazing. And he's gone through his 5th cycle of chemo, has one left, and he's kicking butt. But just, he posts every day and just, sharing his journey of his treatment and what that's really like, the good, bad, and the ugly, which is just awesome. But it's like I see he likes to walk outside. So when he gets out of the hospital and he finally feels, as soon as he can just force himself to do it, and he appears to live in a neighborhood with some pretty palm trees or something. It's pretty outside. But I see like, he's just like, I got to get out here. Like, I'm so grateful to be outside and being out here today. And like, he is living every moment of life that he is physically able to live in between a lot of discomfort. And it really reminds me, like, I don't want to numb out with food or just be numb. I want to live, like, how lucky am I that I have a body that works, that can go outside and, do whatever. Right. And so I think about, like, I also don't watch a lot of TV anymore. And I did used to watch, and same thing, like we would snack. I mean, it was a food and drink thing, like have food and drink while you watch TV for a few hours.
Well, do you remember?
I just think of like
get together and watch Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
we used to have parties with food and alcohol.
But it was all about that, right? And I mean, there was some camaraderie and some pleasure of being together,
some feeling with that.
Yeah, but it's not like it was all junk. But I just think about, or even like, I still have an issue where I have a little addiction to just zoning on my phone.
Let's not talk about this.
But I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, if we can all be inspired by Jace and people like him that are going through things like that, it's like, how lucky are we to be alive in this moment? And do you really, like, if you were, I always talk about, like, we're all in line for the end of our life, right? We're all in line, and I don't know how close to the front of the line I am. I could be right near the front, not know it. I could be way back. I don't know. Right. But what do you want to do with the time you have between now and when you get to the front of the line? Right. And it's like, if you look back and think, when you're, how your computer, your phone will tell you, this week you had X many hours of screen time. Like, look at that. Like, do you want to spend 20 hours of your life every week, however many to 1 year, right, of just lost in a screen instead of connecting with people? And I think one of the things, like you said, when you give up the food, we pull away from some of that numbing behavior. But like, I still need to be like aware of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Of making sure that we're capturing the joy in every day.
Well, and there's, transfer addiction, like, dopamine. And I think dopamine is really, like, let's talk about, like, we're really looking for that dopamine hit. Like, and you can find it in healthy ways. Like, it doesn't have to be a transfer addiction. It doesn't have to be unhealthy. So it's like, how can we get that dopamine hit from things that we enjoy in life and that are healthy things for us, that are going to fulfill us, that are going to sustain us, and that aren't going to, and I, to me, that's fun. Like, how do I have fun?
And that's right. And that's about embracing curiosity of saying, what do I actually like versus what do people tell me I should like, right? Like, one of the things we all used to do was go and get, mani-pedis. And you know what? I hate them. I can't stand.
Oh my gosh, it's a revelation.
What? Right?
Revelation.
Really don't enjoy them.
I'm so
uncomfortable.
Right? Oh my gosh, the people who are listening to the podcast right now cannot see Bonny and I's face. We are both like dying inside. We're like, we took her to so many
but it took me a long time to realize that I don't like them. Right? When we were doing it, what I enjoyed was spending time with you.
Yes.
I really don't give a rat's what about what my nails and toes look like. And now I just do them myself, because I'm also super cheap.
Bonny and I are horrified.
It's okay. I'll help you process your grief later.
That's so amazing.
But it took me a long time to go, I don't actually enjoy
Yeah.
doing that. So
Yeah.
I'm not right.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I would much rather connect, right? I would much rather have a deep conversation.
Yeah.
And same thing like Bonnie, I don't want to have superficial talk in a crowd.
Right.
I love, I will highly recommend and have given each of these two, copies of the cards of, they've played the game by Esther Perel. It's called Where Shall We Begin?
Mhm.
And
Great conversation starters.
Yes.
Great.
Fabulous.
Love it.
So if you have people that you care about, a partner that you love, that you want to kind of have some deeper connection with and conversation, they're quick and easy cards. There's no winning or losing. It's
Yeah.
about sharing stories about yourself and
life
asking your
experience.
partner stories,
Yeah.
about themselves so you can understand about them, right? And so for me, that really fills me. That's a big dopamine hit. It makes me feel
Yeah.
connected to someone.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also love creating art, right?
Yeah.
And whether that's, through I do, glass work or creating something knitting, or even for me, my garden to me is art,
Yeah.
right? It's about being out in nature and
Mhm.
creating something beautiful. And it's also about creating something that I can share with someone else,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? That I can, whether I'm taking flowers to my neighbors or, stealth bombing them with zucchini and tomatoes from my, prolific garden.
Or going to my mom's house and helping her with her garden.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robin. Shout out Robin for
love
doing
your
that for mom.
Hey, Megan's mom, right? That's something that gives me a lot of purpose and meaning
Mhm.
in my life. And I think that's a great place for people to start. If they're not sure, what the heck do they even like? What brings purpose and meaning, right? What makes you at the end of your day go, that was a day well spent?
Hmm.
And it was either I did something for myself, whether that was, I got out,
Went for a hike.
went for a hike, right? You went for a hike, but sometimes for you, going for a hike is not about just you hiking, but it's hiking with other
It's true.
people.
They can be social.
Right,
Sometimes it is doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Don't hear me wrong. I like to hike by myself sometimes
Yes.
too. But
Yeah.
yes, I do like to do it socially as well.
And being willing to name what is it that you need, right? What box needs to get filled up? Is it the
Mhm.
connection box?
Mhm.
Is it, the laughter box?
Yeah.
Is it the solo box? Do I just need time for myself? Do I not want another freaking ego in the room with me? And I
Yeah.
just need to
Mm.
be by myself,
Right.
right? Do I need to stretch my brain? Do I want to read? Do I want to learn something new?
Yeah. Play games. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
another thing. Like I think about that. Like we are a tabletop game family. Like we like to,
Mhm.
Yep.
do cards and that
Mhm.
sort of thing. And I know our friends, our friend group likes to do that
Right.
sort of
Yep.
thing too. Like it's just, and it's, I think that that's another way that like you can connect with people. Like you can
Yep.
sit around a table and have a card game or a board game or whatever, and you have conversations that are
Mhm.
connection conversations, but you also have something that you're doing with your hands. So it's not
Yeah.
solely focused on the conversation, but it's really interesting because it's like, as we have this conversation,
Mhm.
and we didn't plan any of this out, guys, we talking about fun or things that we're doing to fill our time now that we're not in the food anymore. It's like we're really at the bottom of it. It sounds like it's connection. Like it sounds like it's
Mhm.
connection with other humans, and that
Mhm.
sounds like
Well, when
that.
you're numbing out, a lot of times you're numbing from discomfort.
Because you don't want to feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so once you start feeling, then you start sorting through who you want to feel with.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And
Right.
so,
Mhm.
I can remember I had a patient who was a alcoholic and was starting to get to that point of that contemplation about I might want to quit.
Mm.
And her biggest fear was all my friends are at the bar.
Yeah.
I go there
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I go there
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Those are all my friends.
Yeah.
Like if
Mhm.
I'm not drinking, I can't be with them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, I've lost friends over BLE because
Right.
all we did was eat together. And
Right.
it's like, we
Mhm.
don't have that in common anymore.
Right.
And they have slowly removed themselves from my life
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
there's no other commonality besides the fact
Right.
that we would go out and eat and
Yeah,
drink
right.
together. And so it's like, if that's all we did,
but it's like, but it's like for this alcoholic, like, well, all you're doing is numbing out at the bar. And
Sure.
while you're having connection, you're connecting with a bunch of people who are all numbing
numbing
out.
out. Right.
Right.
Sure.
And
Not the
so,
healthiest
yeah, it's
connection.
not a good
Sure.
connection, right? And so
Mhm.
she did get sober and she did find it all. And, at the other side of it, it's like, yeah, those aren't people that were making my life better and bringing me joy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was so hard for her in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
this is my whole world,
Mhm. Well, it was all she had at that moment.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that can definitely be a stressful challenge of saying, so if I put this down,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm reaching.
Yeah. What's that
for.
going to look
Yeah.
like?
Right. What will fill me
And I think
up?
a lot of people that start BLE have that fear.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think they
Yeah.
find the void. There's a word that Susan uses. I can't think of what it's called, but it's like the place in between. Yeah, no. Somebody's I'm sure
Gotcha.
somebody's screaming at this,
yeah.
screaming at their, screaming at our
please.
podcast right now
Right.
that they've got the name. But anyway, but it's just that you free up this space in your
Yeah.
life, and that there's
Mhm.
and that it becomes the void of like, how do you fill it? Like, how do you fill that space now? And it's like, do you fill it with another addiction? Do you fill it
Right.
with, healthy pursuits? Do you fill it with education? What do you fill it with? And so I think, and one of the things, and this is, I've heard the BLE coaches say it, and that's why we want to do this podcast about it, is that one of the things that we don't think about often is just having fun, because
Yep.
it is so healthy to just do something
Mhm.
enjoyable. And it doesn't have to be, based in a pursuit of some sort of
Mhm.
betterment of yourself. It
Right.
can just be something silly and fun and,
Go fly a
whatever.
kite,
Right.
walk
Go
on the
fly, go
beach,
walk
watch
on
the
the beach.
sunset.
Yeah.
Humor podcast, humor
Yeah,
videos.
go see a
right.
comedian,
Yep.
absolutely go to a concert. I mean,
Right.
good grief, take a painting class. I mean,
Right.
like, there's so many things. I know a lot of people that do art that are part of this. I'm
Mhm.
just not very artistic. I won't lie. Like, it's not my thing. But I mean, there are a lot of people that do art that are in this program, and it's just one of the good outlets, and it just brings them so much joy. And
Mhm.
so I don't. I think that to me, it's like I wanted to bring this to light, because I think it's so important that it
Mhm.
is a part of life that as adults we decide for some reason, when we're not kids anymore, that like going out and playing on the playground isn't
Right.
part of our repertoire.
Right.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why
Right.
can't we go play on and it doesn't have to be a literal playground. That's not what I'm saying, but like a figurative playground or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, why can't it be? Why can't I go roller skating? If I want to roller skate, can I go roller skating?
Yes, you can.
That sounds like fun. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what
Yep.
If you're a member of the Bright Line Eating group, if you're a membership,
Mhm.
there is a course in the Bright Line Eating Hub about happiness, and it's actually a course that
Mhm.
Susan taught when she taught it at
Yeah.
college, and it's a
Mhm.
whole course on what
Mhm.
happiness is, and it's
Yeah.
really interesting. I mean, it kind of gets
Mhm.
down to like, we think about like when we were deep in the food, that bite of that whatever is going to make me happy.
Yeah.
And that is such a fleeting feeling.
Yep.
And it is followed usually by a lot of very negative feelings and
Yeah.
happy feelings,
Mhm.
right? But she kind of distilled it down to like what you were saying, the things that give you purpose, the things that bring you meaning are really the things that create long-term happiness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was a long-term study, and what they found, the two things that people associated with air quotes, happy aging, were a support group of your peers and a feeling of giving back or passing on wisdom.
Mm.
Right? Those were the two biggest things.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And when you're not numbing from the food, you have time for both of those things.
Absolutely.
To make connection with your peers and
When
to
you're not
support other
watching
people.
TV for 17 hours
Well,
a day.
gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, it's mind-boggling to think about
Mhm.
all the time that I have now to do other things.
Mhm.
Which is
So
great.
Mhm.
it is
This
great.
life is worth living.
It is worth living,
Yeah.
100%. And it's worth having fun, and it's worth enjoying. And every day doesn't have to be a slog and a dredge. And
Yep.
like, there will be lots of those days where it's just get up, go to work,
Yeah. Rinse,
clean the
repeat.
house, whatever,
Yeah.
rinse, repeat. But that adding in those times of fun and enjoyment and
Mhm.
pleasure are just, I think it's vital. I think it's
Mhm.
vital to human existence. So people, go have a little fun.
Go have a
Yeah.
little
That is our podcast for today. And I hope that you can take something away from this and maybe go have a little fun. I know I would.
Mhm.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that here pretty soon. So as always, if you have show ideas, questions, or guest ideas, please send them to us to onthebrightlinepodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.